So a cornerstone of jazz is improvisation. It's one of the things that differentiates jazz from a lot of other musics. But what I've noticed, especially working with a lot of developing students, both individually and in ensembles, is that improvisation is a very scary thing. And especially once you're starting out, what I've noticed from a lot of young students is that they get really overwhelmed and like the improvisations become stilted as they kind of reach for like what notes to play or thinking about rhythms. And then it just kind of sounds like random thoughts and points versus like a nice idea. So what I want to talk about today and is a really good way to get started with improvisation where you actually don't need a lot of material. So even just taking something super familiar and something super basic like a simple major scale gives you a lot of material to work with to start to build confidence in improvisation, especially in playing linearly. So the first thing that we're gonna do is just first, just play a scale up and down if you're comfortable, the full range on your instrument, or if not, just one octave. Or for this purpose, I'm gonna start on G and just go up to A above the staff, just to get the sound of the scale in my ear and the notes under my fingers. So simply just starting like 1, 2. All right. So now that we have that, what we can do is instead of just playing the scale up and down, which you might do sometimes in jazz, but if you really listen to like your favorite improvisers and your favorite musicians, oftentimes they're adding in leaps or different intervals or changing octaves or changing directions and registers. So we can start to experiment around with that. So what I want you to do is kind of keeping that same eighth note line and momentum, just play continuous eighth notes using this written G major scale, but throw in change of directions, like play up a few notes, then play back down. You could even leap up a few different notes. Just experiment with like different changes in directions, different leaps to see what kind of shapes that you start to hear and become comfortable with. So it doesn't have to go on a long time, but just simply get a tempo in your head and then kind of start to play that scale in a different way than you might be comfortable. So even if something as simple as 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, so even that, something simple, just adding change of directions, little skips here and there, it starts to sound a lot more like jazz and improvisation versus just a scale. So spend a little bit of time experimenting with that to see what kind of shapes and melodies you can come up with.